receiver. Welcome to the Cowboys Experience. This is Zach Martin. Welcome to the Cowboys Experience.
Hi, I'm Jalen Smith, linebacker for the Dallas Cowboys. Welcome to the
Wide receiver. Welcome to the Cowboys Experience. This is Zach Martin. Welcome to the Cowboys Experience.
What's up, everybody? Thank you for the late night edition of the Cowboys Experience, and it's been an experience for training camp like no other. Let me give a shout out to, I got my big guy here, Mr. Law Nation. He's been out there already kicking it. Been out there with like 2 or 3 days already at camp. I just got up there today, and we're going to have a very good time. And guess what? Before we do anything else, let me give a shout out to Barry Griffith and the Cowboys Experience. They made a lot of this possible. And if you out there are in the feed right now and are still interested in going to Cowboys games, which I know I'm going to be hosting one, I know that you will, Law, get out there and find these tickets. And you know how you find them? Cowboys Experience. Get in our inbox, Silver&Blue Nation, Big Game James. You can holler at Law, but get in there. Talk to Barry Griffith. He's got packages, lowest out there across the board, and it's going to be an experience like no other. I got to experience it last year. It's been awesome, and I got to do it again this year, and man, it's second to none. And I'm telling you, get out there and get to this game so we can all have a good time. Law Nation, talk to me, big dog. How's everything going?
Goodness, man, we've been having a great time out here, and competition, man. Steel sharpens steel, iron sharpens iron. And the major thing that we got to look at, shout out to Drew Pearson, man. I just got to say that because the wide receiver battle it reminds me of like the Drew Pearsons of the world, the Michael Irvins of the world, even the Alvin Hoppers of the world. I'm going all the way back for you all because what I'm saying is that we got a guy named Jalen Guyton, number 83. Woo! Hey, he catches everything that's thrown his way. And then we got another guy. Just when you get tired of seeing him catch, you got another guy that wears number 81, John Vea or John Vea Johnson. Man, these guys are hungry. And then I'm not even talking about the guy that's making everything out there just popping it up everywhere. He's the smallest guy on the planet. He's 173 pounds. His name is Reggie Davis, number 11. Man, he's going to make some of these people forget about the old Cole Beasley that was playing for us last year because right now what he's doing is just something spectacular.
All right. I'm telling you right now, I totally agree with you. You're naming people that have been slept on. I haven't really been on the John Vea because I kind of been on Jalen Guyton. So we're going to jump into that offense, but I've definitely been singing the praises of him. He's been my dark horse from day one. I like his size. I like his speed. He's the type of guy, I even showed him in practice, he's a guy that stays after practice almost every practice. He wants to learn. He wants to get better. He's putting all his heart into it. And I think if he continues to make catches and make plays, he's going to have a heck of a chance of making this roster. I think this is a roster where they're really going to let these young guys really make a chance. You got your veteran guys when you got Amari Cooper. Gallup is coming in his second year. And also with our free agent addition of Randall Cobb. And even you don't know what's going on with Tavon Austin. But I really think that they're giving these young guys a chance. That's why you saw Allen Hurns off the roster along with possibly his contract signings.
Yes, indeed. So when the cuts go around, just like I wanted Allen Hurns, believe it or not, Cowboy Nation, I really wanted Allen Hurns to be on this team because I looked at all last year. I do know that he had, under 300 yards overall collectively in reception yards. But he was Dak Prescott go-to guy on the third downs. He was also a guy that was like, hey, season, you can play him inside, out. You can play him at the X position. You can squeeze him inside if you really wanted to. But now that I'm looking at the John Vea, now I'm looking at the Guyton kid, and even the little small guy, number 11, Reggie Davis, like I mentioned. It makes me quickly forget about Allen Hurns. And then if you add in the fact that I'm not even mentioning this guy, Cedric Wilson.
That's what I was about to say. He's not even being talked about right now. You know what I mean? And that kid's got a really good size. We were sitting together and we were talking, and that all the receivers over close to us, so you actually got to really see their size. And that kid Wilson does have size, but he's a real curious thing because you didn't get to see him last year. He was kind of hyped because you have the Boise State product. He has the good size. He has the good bloodlines as well. So you're thinking, he can probably make a difference, but he's still got to fight for this roster like everybody else because we haven't seen him These undrafted rookies are hungry. I had some film of Noah Brown. His roster spot may be in jeopardy because he is dinged up again. So it's going to be a great battle. Tavon Austin, you don't know what's going to happen with him. He didn't sign for a big contract. So it's going to be interesting to see how they really mold and shape this receiving core. And training camp is going to be big. And then this weekend, we get to see the blue and white scrimmage Sunday. So that's going to be very interesting to see how that looks.
Yes, indeed. Before we go into other positioning groups, I just have to say this. The guy that you mentioned, Noah Brown, number 85, for those who don't know, even though he's on the PUP, that's not going to save him. Mm-hmm. It's not. And then if you look at the other part of it, number 14, Lance Lenovo. We love what he was able to do. He was handpicked by Will McClay, but I don't think that those graces saved them as well. So I like the fact that this is a dog-eat-dog world, iron sharpen iron, steel sharpen steel. Now we finally see a full product that is no biasness or none of that stuff going on. There's no pet cat stuff going on. These guys are telling the world that, hey, although we're on the bottom end or the back end of this roster, we still have a chance. And you know where that chance comes from, Big Game James?
What's that?
Dak Prescott.
Mm-hmm.
Dak Prescott's story elevates all of the other guys, knowing that they can say to themselves, I got a chance too. Mm-hmm. Meaning that Dak Prescott, when he was in 2016, think about it. He had Jamil Showers ahead of him. He had Mark Sanchez, for crying out loud, ahead of him. He had Kellen Moore, who's now the offensive coordinator, ahead of him. He even had Tony Romo ahead of him. But guess what? He started every game since then. You see? So Dak Prescott's story gives hope for the Guytons, give hope for the John Thayer Johnson, give hope for the Reggie Davis, give hope for the Cedric Wilson. So I'm not trying to sound like a Southern Baptist out here, but can I just get an amen from somebody?
Amen. You can definitely get that, because I get to preaching and saying that word of that Dallas Cowboys, and I love saying it. So we talked about our little quick takes about what we were seeing and what we're excited about. But I'm going to jump right into some good positions and really offense and defense. Defense first, because I'm a defensive guy. I mean, hey, you got the offensive lineman and you need the offensive line. That's what really the bread and butter is. That's where a lot of the money is. Obviously, you have, Zeke, you got Dak, you got the specialty positions on offense. But to me, It's all about defense. Defense wins championships. It's been time and time again. You just saw it, and I'm going to bring that back. You just saw it in the Super Bowl. The Rams had that crazy offense, and the Patriots came in and shut them down on defense. And at the end of the day, defense can always shut down a great offense. So that's something that's really I want to watch. We got to see a lot of good drills today, show some good videos of the defensive line. Tell me, in your opinion, who do you kind of think when you're thinking about the defense right now? Who is really kind of piquing your interest? Because I know we talked about it, but I want to hear you on air because we're going to kind of jump. But tell me who's kind of piquing your interest on that defensive line.
Yes. Look, we're not even going to talk about the dogs, as we already know, that's going to make this team hands down, like the D-Laws of the world, the Antoine Barbecue Woods, and those boys. I want to go into the back end of the roster, like the Daniel Wise, showing penetration, able to get up the field and from the interior. And then this other guy who I'm just like, man, maybe I just hope it's not an illusion, because he's putting on the great number 74. His name is Jalen Jelks from Oregon. Look, the kid shows a nice burst. He's showing that relentless attitude to get off the edge, and also showing power that I'm not seeing. And I'm not trying to throw, you guys already know, salt or shade towards my guy Taco. But what I'm seeing from those drills, the individual drills, this number 74, just keep an eye open for him.
I mean, I'm definitely keep an eye on. Make sure if you're looking at the Cowboys Experience, once again, I had an article that I made a repost of Jalen Jelks. I wrote an article about him about 2 weeks ago. I said this is the draft pick that no one is talking about. Did really good because, you know what? He went in the 7th round, but when you really watch his tape, you wonder how he went in the 7th round. I mean, the guy is 6'5", 256 pounds, great measurable, long arms, batted down like 7 balls. I believe his junior season, 50-something, 59 tackles both years, had quite a bit of sacks his junior year, almost like 7 sacks. But the biggest thing about him is he's very active, as you have said. Has good bend, has good athletic moves, and I think the thing that helped him is that he played inside at Oregon, so he was able to take on guards and tackles even though they were overpowered. So he was able to learn pass rush moves. I think that helped him coming into the NFL already. And as you said, I'm not trying to throw shade at Taco. I'm the one that wanted him to get drafted. But to me, it's kind of like you're not seeing that explosiveness. You're not seeing year 3. Year 3, you're supposed to be seeing something from a number 1 draft pick, a first-round draft pick. You're supposed to be seeing things. You're supposed to be seeing a little more dominance. I mean, even DeMarcus Lawrence came into his own, said he was going to do it, and he did it. Now you got a guy like a Jalen Jux, a Joe Jackson. Those guys are and we haven't really seen much of Hyder. But like you said, Jalen Jux is tall. He's lanky. He's not even lanky. Yeah. He's got good size. And he is going to surprise some people. And people better watch out for their roster spots. Because if this guy comes in playing in training camp and does anything in the preseason, he could sneak on that roster and not just be on a practice squad.
And Papa Rob Marinelli, he's not going to show no favors. And then if you look at it, I was watching the practice yesterday. Mm-hmm. Big Cat, he was working out with Kerry Hyder on some certain drills. But although Big Cat was working out with him, Charles Haley came out. And I love when the legends come out there.
Yes.
Because they can show and give them guys something that's tangible so they can feel. Now, I always say this. Validation is only good for parking. Mm-hmm. But sometimes when you have somebody that's already been validated, mm-hmm. out there on the field, mm-hmm. you tend to listen. So Charles Haley was working with Robert Quinn, mm-hmm. talking about working with Robert Quinn to the point that he looked over and saw number 74, and he said, 74, come over here.
Yeah.
I got to show you this because you looking good. And when I hear stuff like that, I just pause and say to myself, man, that 74, man, he might do some music out there. And then shout out to number 56, who's Joe Jackson. Uh-huh. He caught the first interception yesterday as well. So these guys, this defense today alone, they had two interceptions.
One return for a touchdown.
Yeah, and a one forced fumble as well, or 2 fumbles, I believe. Mm-hmm. So they returned one forced fumble. So this defense is angry. They want to let people know that they can fly out to the ball and get those interceptions. And then, like I said before, interceptions and turnovers and takeaways are contagious. Those interceptions was back-to-back, I believe.
Yes. And what gets me excited more than anything is that when you see DeMarcus Lawrence, your star, sitting out, working on the side, Tyrone Crawford's out, nursing his injury, Byron Jones working out. He looked really good to me as far as running back and forth. So it looks like he's going to be on target to me just watching him today. It looks like Byron Jones is going to be target for week 1. I don't see any complications. DeMarcus Lawrence was looking good as well. He looks in shape. He looks tough. He's out there talking to everybody. That's what I love about DeMarcus Lawrence and Tyrone Crawford. They were all the way in there working with the team, and I really like that. But as you said, it's a good thing because now you get guys. And another guy I want to talk about just slipped in my mind, but I'm glad he jumped in my head, and I was talking to you about Dorrance Armstrong Jr. I like Dorrance Armstrong Jr. This kid, now, we're talking about Taco, we're talking about Jalen, but Dorrance Armstrong Jr., he was showing some speed off the edge. I seen him going against Lyle Collins, and he beat him the first time straight off that edge. Lyle got him the second time, but he went against a couple people, and he is quick off that edge, man, and he's got good size. He is going to push for playing time. He's going to be on that roster, and I'm telling you, if people don't do this the right way, on that line, somebody's going to get cut, a veteran's going to get cut, we're going to be surprised. So, that's the exciting part, that you got your dogs that are sitting on the sidelines and other guys are looking good, and it's just making it for when they come slide back in, it's just going to gel and make that defense go from where we want. Of last year, we saw it trending up to being dominant from week 1 all the way on, and that's what I want to see from start to finish. And it starts up front with that defensive line. They built it. You just said Daniel Wise. I like him. Short guy. But always active, right. Has very good surprising strength. We ain't even mentioned Tristan Hill. I think he needs to get a little bit conditioning together, but that kid's going to be a player too. So you talk about all these players. Malik Collins, big boy. Daniel Ross is huge. Daniel Ross is huge. I don't know where he was eating last summer to this summer, but that dude looks gigantic, and he don't look like he's going down without a fight. So great battles. We're going to have some people cut that we're going to be like, man, you know what? I really didn't want to see them cut, and they're going to go play with a team. So that's a good thing that you have that many players, but it's a kind of hurtful thing because you feel like you're going to lose some players that you really don't want to lose because you're so talented across the board.
Right. Those two mirror each other. The defensive front four and those 10 wide receivers or 50 million wide receivers that we got, they mirror each other. It's somebody that's going to be cut, and we're going to be like, no! We're going to be start singing that day. But looking back at this defense on the secondary side of it, Xavier Woods, man.
Yes.
When he caught that interception, it just like sprung a fire on everybody on the defense. And you know how you get something, and you know how you get something, or somebody else gets something. You say, "Hey, I want one."
Right.
I want one.
Right.
That's what everybody was saying. Like, "Hey, he got an interception. I want to get back out there." That's what Cheeto Awuzie was saying. I want one. And then LVE and everybody else, "Hey, I want one." And this is another guy that I want everybody to take a quick scouting report on. He wears number 5 and 7. I thought that he was LVE cousin out there, his twin brother, because he just as big and he's mobile and he moves around. He'll slide out to the ball yesterday. So anybody, do you have your scouting report on number 57?
He's linebacker 57.
Linebacker.
Yes, that's Luke Guilford. Luke Guilford.
I thought you were going to say Luke Kuechly.
Luke Guilford, that's who he is. Now, I've seen the linebackers. One of the things that I noticed about the linebackers, LVE and Jalen Smith, both look in tremendous shape. They look in both tremendous shape. That's a great pair. Of course, we got to talk about Sean Lee because he hurt again.
Yeah.
Not going. Hey, we love you, Sean, but I mean, we kind of got to already understand that that's going to be every year. But that's why you have a Joe Thomas. I'm glad they still have him in the fold from Green Bay. He had a little injury bug last year, but he was playing good for us. He was showing the explosive, and I think that if Sean Lee is hurt, you can have LVE, a Jalen Smith, and a Joe Thomas, and don't be feeling like it's going to be a crazy fall off. Also, Marsh Lillard is stepping his game up. Covington has got a little bit of an injury, but we'll see what Luke has to offer. But I like the linebacking core, but health is the key. Guys got to stay healthy, and we always got to understand that Jalen Smith is going to be hurt. But I think Joe Thomas is a guy that keep your eye on for him stepping his game up because he was flying around the ball last year until he had some injuries. He stays healthy. I don't think it's going to be a big drop-off with Sean Lee being hurt.
Right, and we all love number 50. I mean, when he comes out there on the field, everybody's yelling, Sean Lee, the general. Yesterday, when LVE and Jalen Smith and Sean Lee was out there on the field, we all know that Jalen is the mic in terms of key packages and these sorts of things. That was my first day ever seeing Jalen Smith yelling at Sean Lee because Sean Lee lined it up in the weak side. And he was like, no, get over. You Sam. And he was getting all into Sean Lee's face. And that's when I said, okay, the overall collective position.
The changing of the guard.
Yeah. It changed. It changed over at the throne. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. You said you got your son. He played basketball when he finally beat Dad.
They ain't beat me yet, though. That ain't happened no yet, long. They ain't beat me yet, dog. My oldest is 20. My oldest is 23, and they can hear me on tape. Marcus, you ain't never beat me, and JJ, you ain't never beat me either. Keep on trying. You're gonna have to wait till I get super old because you cannot stop that left hook.
So if they ever get a chance to beat you, they're going to let you know it, right?
Right. Hey, let me give a quick few shout-outs, Law, before we jump into a few more things. Harold Martin, Gerald McDonald, what's going on? Curtis Starbound Harris, I love you, dog. LaShonda, Jimmy Nelson, how you doing? Sean Mike, Jarvis Chambers, how you doing out there? We appreciate you. Gerald McDonald, we appreciate you saying loving the show. We love you. Tammy Lynn Wilkes Dawson, that's a long one. I love when I see the ladies up in there. Hey, let me tell you something about the lady Cowboys. They be on it. Like, I think they be loving it sometimes more than the dudes because when they got the passion, they got the serious passion. So shout out to all the ladies out there that rep them Cowboys. We love you to death, and we got the prettiest fans anyway out there. So shout out to every G Garcia. What's up, you J Outlaw Perez? We know you out there. Keep on liking and sharing the Cowboys Experience because it's brought to you by them today, and we just want to show them love. And like I said, if you're thinking about going to a game, talk to us. Inbox at Silver&Blue Nation, Big Game James, Law Nation. Talk to us. We can get you right on these packages and get to these games and see us and have the time of your life. It's an experience that you will not regret. So please,
yes, indeed.
get there and
just don't
find
look
out.
at it like that too.
Yes,
Guys,
sir.
if you got loved ones who pretty much don't like the Cowboys but like the opposing team, it would be a great time to reach out to them. Also, share the website www.cowboysexperience.com, and we can pretty much book up packages for them as well. So we do it all, Cowboy Nation, and then on the ladies, not just that you guys are beautiful. You guys are educated and knowledgeable of the game. See, that will separate us different from all of the other fan bases that's out there.
Mm-hmm.
Our ladies are educated. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they know the game. They know the game for sure. Like, they will really tell you. You'd be surprised. Like, okay, let me get back on my game, because they really know what's going on here. So definitely shout out to all our ladies. Hey, so we were talking about this defense. But before we jump in this offense, I want to hit the secondary, because I know you were talking about Xavier Woods. That's the guy I wrote about. That's the guy I personally wanted to draft when he came out of the draft, because his playmaking ability, you saw it today. Not only did he get the interception, takes it to the house, and he had that breaking speed like he was shot out of a cannon when he ran that back, and everybody was geeked up. So I think he's going to have a fabulous year. The Dallas Cowboys drafted him because he was a playmaker, 14 total interceptions in his career, had like 6 or 7 his senior year, and he was playing against good competition. Ran back 3, I believe, for a touchdown. I could be wrong, but I know he had a couple ran back for a touchdown. So now you're seeing him kind of taking over the defense. Jeff Heath had an interception, I believe, as well. Playing good. Only thing he needs to continue to work on is the tackling space, but Chris Richard hasn't working. I want to ask you a question about a few people were asking in the feed. I haven't got to really see him, so I'm not going to sit there and jump up that I have. But have you got to really see Chris Westery from Kentucky, the undrafted free agent, 6'4"? Everybody's been talking about him with the 4.3 speed. What do you think he looks like if you have seen him? And what do you think he's going to look like going forward?
Yes, he broke up 2 passes yesterday, and he played the hands of the receiver. And Chris Richard yelled out, "Good job, good job," because he didn't have to turn his head around for the ball. Mm-hmm. He's already 6'9" almost out there, looking like a giant.
Right.
He wears number 39, guys, and that guy, for his height, he's got quick feet, fluid hips, and then he knows how to move out in space. So to me personally, I know a lot of people in the stands were like, "Man, is that Cam Chancellor cousin?" And I was like, "No, that's Chris Westery. He runs a
4.3. He's like a 4.3, 4.2. Like he's fast."
Right, and he did a great job. And the other guy, Donovan Alumba, you know, he did a great job out there too. If you guys get a chance to come out here, if you are in Oxnard, you will see him with the unique colors out there on the field, with the high light blue, baby blue sleeve.
Yes. And
with the dreads hanging out. So he's doing a great job, or a serviceable job out there. So those guys on the back end of the roster, the way they can make this team is on the other category, special teams. Mm-hmm. Because this defense on the secondary is still loaded. We still have a place for Byron Jones. We still have a place for Jordan Hip Pocket Lewis. We still have a place for your guy Cheeto Awuzie. Now, I will say this about Jordan. Mm-hmm. He is getting lit up like a Roman candle. That doggone guy. Look, we got 83 is lighting him up every chance he get, and number 81 is just taking him over to the deep side. So I don't really know about Jordan Lewis as it relates to practice. Mm-hmm. Now, I would say this, in a real game, maybe he can turn it on. But he getting lit up this these practice sessions that I was able to see. And shout out to Jordan Lewis. You guys know I love him.
Hey, we can only tell real. I mean, if it's happening real, you know, that's my dog for life. You know what I mean? But hey, like we said, with these young guys, have some size, they have some speed, and they're going to put it out there because they're trying to make this roster. So you're going to get their best shot. That's what you want, because competition, that makes you better on both sides. I see a few questions in here, and I want to ask you this. I believe it was Harold Martin. What's up with you, dog? How you doing? Terry Turner, what's up? I think you said something. Daniel Meza, how you doing? Always a supporter. We love you for life. But he's asking about George Iocca. What do you think about him? First thing, before you answer that, the thing I noticed about George Iocca is his size. I mean, you can tell he's imposing. Number 20, he's imposing when he walks out there. I think he's been playing okay. He hasn't really been like, I mean, he's been there, but it's not like he's like really stood out to me from what I've seen. What's your kind of thoughts on him and kind of going forward? Is this kind of just him still kind of learning the ropes of what's going on as far as the defense is concerned?
What's the kid name that's played for the Raiders? I think his last name is Neil. You know his first name?
Neil. No,
A lot of people was talking about, hey, we should make that trade, pick up Neil. And I was saying that we already got that guy, George Haloka. We got that guy out of Kayvon Frazier. To me, it's Jeff Heath all the way. I don't see any guy stepping up to the plate as it relates to strong safety. And then that's a position that I would rather for it. And this is just my opinion. He wears number 37. His name is Donovan Wilson. I saw him flying out the ball. I saw more tape out there on Donovan Wilson opposed to the George Halokas and also Kayvon. I don't know what Kayvon's story is during his few practices, but I can say this right now, that those guys that's on the bottom end, like the George Haloka and the Kayvon Frazier, they might be on the bubble, believe it or not.
I'm gonna go ahead and agree with that one. I think George Haloka is not a guarantee, especially if you look at his contract that he signed. It definitely was not like any kind of you're going to hurt the Cowboys if they cut you. This is more of insurance because they didn't draft the safety maybe high. And then, like you said, Donovan Wilson's been showing out. They showed some video of him doing some workouts. Even in minicamp, they were praising him because he was learning the defense, putting the defensive players, defensive backs in the right positions already. So they were impressed by that he was not making mistakes when they were trying to change up the defense on him. So you can tell that he was hungry. Even when he got drafted, when they gave him the call, he had the emotion that he showed was showing that he really wanted to be a Cowboy. And if he can show out on special teams, because that's got to be your calling card, if he can show out on special teams and make some plays in the preseason, as you said, those guys will be on the bubble. Kayvon Frazier, because this is going in his fourth year, isn't it? I don't know, it's third or fourth year. But he has to make he's not making a lot of money, and he hasn't really took that next step. So if you're looking at Wilson, he makes any kind of play, like you said, it could be some guys that could be off the roster that we think are bubbles right now. So we're going to see what happens with that. Now, as we talked about the defense, and I've been so excited. I love defense all day. But now we're going to talk a little bit about that offense, Law. We mentioned the receivers. We talked about those guys. We're going to get a little bit more in depth with them. But tell me, when you're talking about the offense right now, it's going to talk about Kellen Moore. All right? Kellen Moore. Did you see anything in the offense that's got you excited right now, or you think it's kind of close to the best? Or you seen anything that's like, okay, I'm kind of liking that?
Kellen he's gonna have a hyphen to his last name. It's gonna be Kellen Moore dash motion. They doing a lot of motion before the snap. They doing a lot of pre-snap motions and stuff like that. And I'm saying that this team is utilizing that, and it's the same plays. Look, football has always been the same. It's nothing new under the sun. It's always been 11 versus 11, believe it or not. So, but what I'm seeing with my eyes, with my natural eyes, is that they are being more relaxed. They are pushing the ball down the field. I saw number 7 throw a deep ball. I saw not Cooper Rush, but the Mike Whites of the world throw a deep ball. I saw Dak Prescott utilizing the mids and the deep thirds of the field. So what I'm saying is that I think that Kellen Moore let these guys play a little bit more relaxed and not so gung-ho on just, hey, we do what we do and we play it safe and close to our vest. No, they playing a little wild out there.
I think that's a good thing. There was a little article that I believe Gallup had a quote where he was saying the reason why they love Kellen Moore is because, number one, he's around their age. I mean, he's a young guy, early 30s. I think he's 31 years old, I believe. But, they like that because he has that fresh idea and he's going to listen. It's going to be more of, yeah, I like that play. Let's try to do this. And he's going to listen to the players. And that's what they really like about him. And when you get that good relationship between your player and coach, your coordinator, it makes it a free-flowing thing and things aren't always so uptight. And as you said before, John Kitna has already told the quarterbacks, look, don't be sitting there playing this tight to the vest. Let that ball rip. Don't sit there and play safe, because when you play safe, we make mistakes. So those two guys are basically telling them, let's play loose, let's play aggressive, let's have fun. And I think that's going to be key for the offense going forward. Now, as you saying, bouncing off the offense, I was seeing a lot of motion as well. I seen Randall Cobb in the backfield. I seen Gallup take a handoff as well. They are pushing the ball. I seen a couple passes going to Reggie. Is it Reggie Davis?
Reggie Davis.
I've seen a couple, and he's got some really good speed. They are trying to push that ball down the field. They're not trying to just sit there and drop it off like they were last year underneath, drop them to the running backs. They're trying to push that ball down the field and make plays. So you saw a couple of interceptions by Dak Prescott, but at the end of the day, yes, you don't like those, but you do like the aggressiveness that they were showing about pushing that ball down the field. And I believe the longer they keep doing that, it'll just become a better offense and it'll become more comfortable. You'll see more explosion.
Yes, indeed. You said a mouthful on that. Bill Parcells, the great Bill Parcells, used to say, Tony Romo, I want to see 2 or 3 interceptions during practice. And Tony probably looking at him like, come on, man, I'm trying to keep my job.
Right.
But what he wanted him to do is pass the ball deeper down the field.
Mm-hmm.
And you only can get better at it during practice. Now, I saw Dak Prescott needling the ball. I got some footage of it. I have yet to be just posted yet. Needling the ball through the middle of the field to the likings of number 19, Amari Cooper, and to the likings of a number 18. You're trying to squeeze the ball to number 18, and that's where the interception occurred.
Mm-hmm.
But you only can get better when you try to do those things. So you know that, like, when a real game, I know not to fit that ball in this particular coverage because it's not possible. So I like that aspect of this team of trying different new things. And then on top of that, when you're talking about the quarterback positionings, I know that a lot of people are high on number 5,
Mm-hmm.
this guy named Tyron Christian, or Christian, if you want to call his last name.
Mm-hmm.
But his program should be mirroring whatever program we had installed for Dak Prescott.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, Dak Prescott should not been the starter in 2016, but he was there by default because of injury. And we got a chance to see a raw Dak Prescott. So he developing to this point. So what we want to see out of Tyron Christian, because a lot of people saying that he's trash or he can't do this and he can't do that, is just take your time. You want him to develop. You want him to be at least 2 to 3 years on the bench learning and picking up the offense so that when he gets out there, he's already got a rocket for an arm so that he can be comfortable and play the game like it's supposed to be.
Yeah, and I'm like I said, I'm excited to see because, like I said, this offense is going to continue growing. It's not going to be something that happened overnight. You know what else I'm excited about? I think he's going to have a really good year. If I can talk about an offensive player, it's going to be Blake Jarwin. The kid just looks like he's slim. I mean, he looks like he's lean. He looks like he's in shape. He is really getting open. He's getting. I mean, he looks like he could be our tight end. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
You saw him take. You saw him take that next step toward the end of the year. Had the big game with the Giants, and then we're trying to see, is he going to be, falling off, flowing off of what he did last year? Is it going to continue to rise? And I really think it is. I know we got Witten back and you got Schultz, and I don't even know what's going to happen to Rico. I don't think he's going to make the team. That's just my personal opinion about it. Because you see in Jarwin, you gotta play him. Jarwin's got to play a lot. I know you got Witten, and I know you brought him back, and I know he's excited to be back. But Jarwin has to play, and he has to play a lot because he is going to be your weapon downfield. He looks like he's every bit of 6'7". He's got them long arms. And I just believe he's going to be really good running after the catch. Not like a big-sized Gronk type, but I believe he's going to be that type of guy when he catches the ball. And it's the yards after catches what he's really going to be doing. So keep your eye, in my opinion, on Blake Jarwin on that offense. I think he's going to have a very, very good year.
Yes, indeed. And now I don't know if there was an undisclosed injury or something like that, but let the people that's in the chat box and beyond educate me on this. But I didn't see number 80 out there, Rico Suave.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see him out there at all today in practice. The last time I saw Rico, the ball was bouncing off his body like he was playing volleyball or something like that with his chest, and the ball landed into Joe Jackson's arm.
Right.
He ran it back for a pick six.
Right.
This is the thing. There's a guy that's running crisp routes, and I said, I kind of hit Chango. He was live with me, and I said, who is number 84? And he's like, oh, man, let me look. And somebody to the right of me said, hey, man, that's the Cody kid that they picked up from L.A.
Yeah.
From the LA Rams.
Yeah.
And I said, that got to be Jay Novacek, But number 84, he was running crisp route. He was out there today. He's become Mike White's best friend out there. You guys know how the tight end and the quarterbacks always become like that one unit. So Cody, I don't know if it's with a K or with a C, but he's been catching, and I like his skill set. I want to know that when the first preseason game or the second preseason game, whenever, can he still keep that same energy? Look out for number 84. For those that's in the chat box and beyond, post his measurables for me. Help me out.
Yeah, I think he's like a 6'4", 6'5" guy. I ain't gonna lie, G kind of got on me about this. I was like, who? When we signed him, I was like, man, come on, no, he getting cut. He ain't nobody. And G kept telling me, he's like, you don't know, you know, the Cowboys be getting them undrafted people, and they be doing something. I mean, Blake Jarwin, you see, he was undrafted. He's playing with us. So, I think somebody asked me in the chat box, and I'm going to answer them right quick. I believe it's Harold Martin asking about Rico. Is he going to make the roster? In my opinion, I don't think he is. I think you got solid Schultz, you got Jarwin, and you got Witten, and you got other positions that are going to be more of a need. I think 3 is good. And if you say that other tight end shows anything and they brought him over, they're going to kind of keep him probably on the practice squad. I just feel like that experiment is kind of just over, and you can't keep waiting on this. It's time to make a move. It's time to make a move on this offense, taking the next level as far as going to a championship Super Bowl. If you're trying to do that, ain't no time for waiting no more. That experience has been 3 years now. It's time to make other things happen, and I just feel like that's a position that he won't make it, just my opinion.
Yeah. He's going to have to be sharp as attack, and that's a position, the group that I didn't know there's going to be that much battle. And especially when you take away number 21 off of this offense, and you have a plethora of running backs, and then you're looking at Jameis Olewale, and then you're looking at the other guy who, guys forgive me, I don't know his name as well. Maybe you know it. He wears number 42. I don't know if he's just a camp body, but he's not looking like he's showing us any flavor out there.
Right.
But they bringing out these guys to work out. But if you guys know who number 42 is, let me know. Put it down in the comment box.
That is Ryan Urachek. Number 42, Ryan Urachek. But, hey, Jordan Chun, 46, Jordan Chun, I don't know if he's going to make the roster, but he's feisty. He's real feisty. Hold on,
bro. I ain't trying to cut you out.
Go ahead and cut me out.
It's that 46 is messing me up.
Because you're thinking of the Alfred Morris of the world. Yeah, he ran out there in 23 now, so – and we're going to talk about him in a minute. But as we're talking about this offense, it's going to talk to me about that quarterback that you talked about, Christian. I've been singing the praises. This is the first time I saw him today, okay? First time I saw him, the quarterbacks were doing the drills over to the side, and everybody was, doing the same type of drill. The quarterbacks, Dak, Cooper Rush, Mike White, they're all hitting a good medium range, and so is he. But, man, I'm telling you, something about this kid, I don't know what it is, but he's got a tight spiral. Like every pass he threw was a tight spiral. He's got a very, very live arm. He looks real like he has like that. Not saying he's no Russell Wilson, because he's not him. But if you look at the mobility he has, and he's not super tall, maybe 5'11", he has got that mobility. He looks like he can shake you and just hit you with a long bomb and a tight spiral, like bam. He looks like he's a creator. I think that was a good pick that they had. And Cooper Rush, I don't know about Cooper Rush. And if he doesn't, I was watching some of the practice that they had. He was making some bad passes. So I don't know. I don't know if he can really challenge like Cooper Rush, but I don't think Cooper Rush has a solid spot in my eyes. I think they really still want to see what Mike White is going to do. But keep an eye on that kid. I think he could do something. I don't think he's just a camp body.
Oh, wow. Yeah. He got the feet of Michael Vick, right? He got the arm of Pat Mahomes. He got that cannon, but he got the accuracy of Christian Ponders, you see. So that's just the reality of it. The other day when they finally put him out there in the drills with the 11 on 11s, what have you, the first 2 snaps he fumbled. And it could be he's still trying to pick up the playbook, for crying out loud. And then the second 2 passes that he did, it was at the feet, and one was like so far off. But I can say this, day 1, he had the strongest arm, because they were doing an accuracy drill, like when they was 40 yards off and 50 yards off. So he may have a little Brett Maher in him, whereas it's the further away from the receiver, he's more accurate, but it's those short intermediate passes that he can't make. Yeah. So he may be one of those things. But like I'm saying, Cowboy Nation, if you guys could just be patient with him, I'm seeing so much in this kid potential. When you talk about that 3 and that 5-step drop drill that they was doing, fluid, very fluid. It's just the fact that his accuracy is something that he's going to have to work on. If you guys don't like Dak Prescott accuracy, and quote unquote, Dak Prescott got great accuracy according to the NFL stats and stuff, you guys would really hate Tyler Christian accuracy.
Well, hey, he might not be the most accurate guy, and I don't know if that's something that can be corrected, because sometimes they say as a quarterback, if that's what you are, that's what you are. So we're going to see. But all I know is this: just watching him, that live arm, he looks like a playmaker. I think they should keep him on a practice squad and try to develop him, because I think he is going to be an addition. And I have something about him. He was one of the first ones I noticed when I seen him out in the quarterback drill. I seen that arm. That arm was live. And I just want to see Cowboys. Don't just sit there and say he's a camp body. Work with this kid. Maybe do something, because honestly, I don't have the confidence Cooper Rush. I'm still kind of nervous about this backup quarterback position, because if that goes down, I don't see Rush really doing anything.
Hold on.
Okay, yeah. It's just reality. I'm just saying this backup quarterback position, I hope somebody steps up. You know what I'm saying? I want somebody to step up so we can feel confident. Because right now, I'm just not that confident in that quarterback position outside of that.
Yes, indeed. So, it's one of those things where if Dak goes down, out of Mike White, out of Cooper Rush, out of Tyron Christian, they're going to get on the phone.
They better.
They're going to get on the phone. They're going to say, hey, what's the guy that used to be on his not practice squad, but he was playing with the team last year?
Jamel Showers?
No, not Jamel, because he was out there. He laid a good hit on somebody.
Oh, who's a quarterback for him?
He had a brother that played for the NFL too. He played for the Saints or something like that. I forgot his name. He's an old guy.
Oh, you throwing me off, dog. Somebody in the feed gonna have to tell me that one.
Yeah, somebody in the feed, man, in the Facebook elite panel. But what I'm saying is they're gonna make a phone call. They're gonna call one of those guys, one of those brothers. I forgot his name.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. McCowan.
Yeah, they'll call me McCowan. They're gonna call him. I promise you, just like they called Alfred Morris. They're gonna call him, because the Cowboys are known for being comfortable. They want to keep things comfortable for them. They want to have some familiarity going on and these sorts of things.
Well, it's perfect that you mentioned Alfred Morris, because he's the next guy we're going to talk about, him in the situation. I'm not going to really jump too much on the Zeke thing, because you know what, I don't know everything about that. Like I said before, I wrote an article, and I'm going to beat it like a dead horse. I wrote an article, so I'm not surprised about this happening. People need to understand running backs are going to do a certain thing at a young age, because when the older they get, their value depreciates. And that's what their agent would say to them, or anybody else. Because once you get a 25, 26, they ain't trying to pay you that kind of money. So they're going to try to get what they can. But now you see Alfred Morris in the fold now. You got Tony Pollard. You got your rookie Tony Pollard. You have your rookie Mike Weber. Darius Jackson has been getting some snaps. What do you kind of think about the situation with Alfred Morris? Do you think he's a guy that, if Zeke does hold out, we're not hoping that does, but if Zeke does hold out, is he a guy that stays on the roster, possibly starts? Is he a guy that does that?
Well, this is the thing. I would rather go through the growing pains and put a Darius Jackson out there, for crying out loud, and have TP being his backup guy. But what happened here with the Alfred Morris situation, certain people fall in love with stats, and they kind of be misguided in a sense. They look at Alfred Morris and say, okay, he averaged 4.3 yards per carry and blah, blah, blah years with the Cowboys. Let's just get him. That's a good average carry number, and we can work with it. But when you look at the tape, you'll see that, oh, man, those yards came in the garbage time. Then on top of that, those yards came when we was getting blown out, and they just put Alfred Morris back there to run, and the teams were giving you that. So my thing is, Alfred Morris collectively, he's a nice gentleman, good guy. He might trade his Mazda car in for number 46 for Chun, so he can be like, hey, let me get that number from you. But outside of that, I'm looking at Alfred as this guy right here. They put him in because he's knowledgeable of the system. I know he came out on record saying that, hey, anybody who thinks that I'm washed up, I got it. I got it all, and I'm gonna show you guys. But I like talk. Talk is cheap, but in reality, Cowboy Nation, he's Alfred Morris.
Well,
Give
hey,
give me Joe and Jay and Jai. Give me anybody.
we're about to see, because I don't think that's going to happen. I think if they were going to go after Jay or Jai or them and the other guys, they would have called them guys instantly. I feel like they have that familiarity with Alfred Morris. I feel like they feel comfortable with him. He is a good guy. He's a guy that they want to keep in the fold in the building, because he has that positive attitude, hard worker, and that's what they want to have. So we're gonna see. I personally like a little more explosion in that backfield. I feel like teams are not gonna be as afraid of an Alfred Morris if he was a starter for us, even though you have our offensive line the way it is. You get what I'm saying? Not even saying that he's a bad player, but we need explosive back there. We're trying to be an explosive team now. The Cowboys are trying to be an explosive team. So we need guys that can hit that hole and make it happen. You get what I mean? We don't want guys getting caught up in the backfield or anything like that. So we're going to see how this battle plays out, and we're going to see how this thing plays out with Zeke. Hopefully it doesn't go any longer. He gets in camp, and then we can go ahead and move forward, because it always seems like every time we're getting right there, it's always something. And that's the thing that just really gets me frustrated as a whole, is right when we feel like, yes, we got this, we got that, we got this, and then now something else. It's like we gotta stop having those little side things that distract us from trying to get this 6, because this is a prime year for it to happen, because there's a lot of pressure on a lot of people. So when pressure happens, usually some good things can happen, because pressure brings out the best of you.
Right. It's the only way you can make a diamond, baby. You gotta have that heat. You gotta have that heat and that pressure. So before this season started, before this off season started, which is a major season, to me the off season is always the longest season. I asked myself, what do I have reservations on? Where's the weaknesses at on this team? And I did a long post, and I said, you know what? The only weakness that I saw on this team was the kicker, because I wasn't sure about it.
Mm-hmm.
But now we got these glaring holes as it relates to the holdout and contract talk and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
My thing is, before all of this week transpired, we was looking really good as it relates to the total package on this team.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm saying is, like, I'm echoing what you're saying, actually, is that finally, when we got all of the pieces in place, we have this money situation. And I'm going to say this. When we go out there, and you probably saw it today, when you look to your left and you look to your right, there was gobs of people, tons of people wearing the 21 jerseys, you see.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm a strong advocate of Ezekiel Elliott. I always believe that he was innocent in these sorts of things, but I have to touch on this, Cowboy Nation. Not everybody is lying on you. Somewhere is the truth. Now, just as well as Sean Lee find his way to get hurt, find the ways to get injured, and we look at it and say, oh, he's injury prone. And that could just be a coincidence. But at some point, we have to look at the reality and look in the mirror and say, he's the injury-prone guy. Just as he's an injury-prone guy, we have to look at Ezekiel Elliott and say, hey, regardless of how it is, he just brings in the negativity. From whether it's Roger Goodell, or from whether it's a guy walking down the street, or whether it's a DJ who's probably mixing up the tapes. Mm-hmm. It's just something that always draws negative energy for where he's doing. I don't know if he walked on a ladder or if he busted several mirrors when he was growing up, but it just to me, Cowboy Nation, that we're going to have to get a handle to this. And maybe I can only pray and hope that Tony Pollard and Alfred Morris and the Darius Jacksons of the world can turn this thing around and make us forget about it. But this team can be so much better if somebody can get his mind right and act right. And I know that he's not 100% at fault, but I'm talking about the negative energy. I don't like it.
Yeah, and as we get ready,
I know you don't want to touch on it.
No, I mean it's just frustrating because, as you said, I mean we need Zeke. I understand his side of it. He wants to get paid. I understand that. Yeah. But it's just like right now, it's just like, wow. I mean, you knew you had 2 years still in the contract, and I'm not saying you got to play on the contract. I'm not getting into people's contracts, but it's just like we're so close right now to really getting to where we can make this happen. and yet now we're still missing out on a star player again, sitting out. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like continuously every year is one thing that kind of starts out the year holding us back. We got to start out. The Cowboys have to start out fast in this first 5 games. I keep saying that the first 5 they do. When I heard coaches talk about when you're doing a season, and even when I've done it, you're doing it in kind of increments. And you got a 16-game season, 5, you're doing 5, and you're doing 5. You can add the 1. But your first 5, and you got 4 NFC games, 2 NFC East games back to back. You got to start out fast. Me and you both have talked about this. The Cowboys have to start out fast. You need Ezekiel Elliott there. I really don't want to go back there starting with a Darius Jackson. You feel me?
Right.
I love a Tony Pollard, but you're still a rookie. I don't know what's going to happen. Yeah, you can look good in college, but this is the NFL now. We don't know. And I know what you are in Alfred Morris, and I don't feel like teams are going to respect our offense as much. So I just like Ezekiel, please get here. We got this team ready to make this happen. So let's figure out some way to make this rock and roll because it's time. It's time for the 6, and it can't be any more distractions like it always is in some kind of form and manner.
Right. And that's what I was echoing too. I was saying that, like, hey, and I know we probably wrap this thing up, but I would just want to say this. All Ezekiel had to do is just come out there for all of the fans that supported him and had his back when he was going through his trials and tribulations. And just come out there and say, hey, I don't feel comfortable right now running out there on the field knowing that I'm the battle. I'm the, what do you call it, the end-all, be-all to this team.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm going to do is I'm holding out, but I'm here for the fan. I'm here for, to show my love and adulation towards everybody out here. But I can't do what Amari Cooper is doing because I just don't trust the system because I'm a running back.
Mm-hmm.
And just chill out in his hotel, still show everybody. Then I think that's when Jerry Jones can say, okay, at least you met me halfway. You see, at least you came out to the camp because like I think I was on somebody's show where they said that Sean Lee was already in California. Just so he can be with the team charter, he flew all the way from California back to Dallas to get on the team to fly back to California. That's how dedicated he was to be with the Dallas Cowboys to let everybody know that you are my brother. You see, but Ezekiel Elliott, man, it just don't rub me right. It just don't rub me right as a fan.
Wow.
I'm speaking from a fan perspective, but the man do deserve his money, but at least he should look at it and meet him halfway, Jerry Jones.
Okay, well, outside of Alfred Morris, what do you think about Darius Jackson, Mike Weber, and Tony Pollard? What do you think about that 3 core? Let's say we didn't even have an Alfred Morris. What do you feel about those guys? Do you think Darius Jackson can do some things in that backfield? Or do you think what about Mike Weber? He was looking fast out there today. A little bit shorter kid, but I mean he looked quick out there. He was hitting them holes hard. Do you think the Cowboys could really roll with something like that?
I call Weber mini Zeke. He took over the responsibilities of Ezekiel Elliott when he left Ohio. I think that he's a north and south runner with quick feet and able to get separation within his cuts. So I think that between Mike Weber and Tony P, I think that those 2 combinations are going to be lethal, but they're going to have to get hit first before I can make the final decision by an NFL player. Now, with the Darius Jacksons of the world, I saw number 27 lay the wood on him, and he made the ball bounce like a basketball. And we remember the DeMarco Murray days. We don't like to see the ball touching the grass. So it may be a situation where it's only the thing with Darius Jackson is that he needs more time actually out there on the field before we can just say, okay, he can be the guy. So these guys, none of these guys are on the level of Ezekiel Elliott, but I can say this, just give these guys chances to be out there on the field. Don't throw a number Alfred Morris out there who's only going to slow those other guys down from learning.
Yeah, and I think the preseason's got to be huge for those guys and for a lot of players. As I said before, and we're getting ready to close here, as I said before, The preseason, usually everybody's like, get rid of the preseason. Preseason don't matter. We just want to keep people, no injuries, things of that nature. But this preseason is going to be critical for the Cowboys to me because we have so many young players. We got second-year players. We got undrafted free agents. We got a lot of people trying to vie for spots on the team. So preseason games are going to be very critical. So I'm really going to be keeping tabs on these preseason games because you're going to be watching the Jalen Justice that we talking about, the Joe Jackson, Chris Westery, Tristan DeCloud, Ioka, you know what I mean? Offensive linemen that they have. They have the Hyatt kid from Clemson. We want to see what Connor McGovern's going to look like. Connor Williams, Lael Collins. You want to see, I still want to see some of these guys in the preseason. Maybe those guys may not play as much, but I'm definitely going to see McGovern. So it's going to be an interesting preseason because some guys can get cut with these preseason performances. Some guys can be elevated from, we just thought he was going to make the practice squad, but guess what? He can actually get on his roster, and I think the preseason games are going to really be huge for us going forward. I don't know about you, but it has me excited, and it has me excited because guess what? Cowboys Experience brought us this. They brought us this tonight. They did it for us tonight. They're going to do it for us this weekend, and we're going to have some great film. Make sure you check into the Cowboys Experience this weekend. Me, myself, producer G, Law Nation, we're going to be out there. We're going to have a good time. We're going to get you these great shots, hopefully get you some great interviews, and it's going to be brought to you specifically by the Cowboys Experience. Once again, Barry Griffith, second to none, and the treatment is the greatest. And if you're trying to get to any football games, please inbox us, Silver&Blue Nation, Big Game James, Law Nation, Barry Griffith. Get in there, find out. Get to these games. We're going to be there. You need to be there. We need to have fun. I'm telling you, when we be downstairs in that Miller Lite spot, you better be asking Barry. We be kicking it. We be having a good time. So get out there with us. You're trying to get them field passes. Get down there and see us because you can get there with us and be right there with them players. Man, I'm telling you, you don't want to miss it. So Cowboys Experience, second to none. Got any last words, Law Nation?
Oh, man, no. We just continue to grow this thing brick by brick, one day at a time, one movement at a time. And, hey, I always got to leave you guys with some positive words. When the end comes for me, let it find me conquering a new mountain, not sliding down an old one. Cowboy Nation, we're going to slide right into the victory of hosting the Lombardi Trophy. All we got to do is put our mind to it, and, hey, hear what happened. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Salute.
I love when you do that. And remember, that's just classic. Hey, let me give you a few shout-outs to everybody before we get off here. Daniel Mezza, we appreciate Curtis Starbound Harris, Jay Rish, Shani Weber. How you doing, baby girl? Natasha, is it Bridget? I think. I'll be messing this on the next, so I apologize if I do. And everybody else who jumped in here, listened to the show. We know it was a late night tonight. We're on the West Coast, so we like, hey, it's early. Y'all on the East Coast are like, dang, dog, what y'all doing these shows like night? But this is like the late night hype, so we're glad you came in. We know you got to go to work, but you stayed in here listening to this cowboy stuff. We love it, and wait till you see this weekend because we're going to have more in store for you. So for Cowboys Experience, Big Game James, Silver&Blue Nation, producer G Voltron, Law Nation, salutes to you, and we'll be talking to you soon.
Wide receiver.